So that wasn't at all depressing, that intro.
That was bloody horrible.
I know.
Is that what we can do now?
Pretty much, yeah. That or a 30-second one.
Well, at least 30 seconds half the pain.
Yeah. It's depressing. But hey.
Swaying side to side, just trying not to.
Anyway, today.
Yeah.
How the devil are you? I'm
yes,
the new John.
As you can see, John has put on a little bit of poundage and developed an English accent today.
And I've shaved my beard off.
Yes.
Now, here's the thing.
Changed his name to Gary.
Yeah.
Hello. It's Wednesday. I can do a Wednesday.
Well, maybe we should do that more often then. What do people think?
No, don't give them the option. They'll want one every day. We'll never get a day off.
No, I wasn't talking about every day. I was talking about like having Tuesday off instead of Wednesday.
This is not a beer.
Because then you'd still only be doing 3 days. Because you don't do Mondays anymore.
I do Mondays sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah, but not always. Most of the time you're prancing around in the woods.
I'm not skipping around the woods in my mankini. I will do Mondays.
Yeah.
But anyway, enough about not John. How is everybody today?
I was all right during the intro and I realised I've lost the bloody exhaust. I've had it before.
That's just...
Gosh darn it, tarnations.
Put it in with all your medication, did you?
Oh, quite possibly. It could well be.
Because you did have a bag of medicinal
herbs.
For private use only. Can I just say, while you're looking for that, this is, for me, a game changer.
Nice.
I am so enjoying airbrushing again because of this.
Good.
So thank you. Thank you for producing that gallery. And thank you, Amazon, for taking £56.99 of my hard-earned cash and then the very next day dropping it to 44 quid.
I did notice that.
It's prime, isn't it?
I suppose Bezos has got to get into space somehow.
Yeah.
Prime Day is coming up as well.
It's Prime Day now, isn't it?
Yeah, 8th to the 11th.
Yep.
Yes, I happened to watch Waitrose's Prime Day YouTube video a little bit late and saw it reduced from the price I paid by £12.
Oh, I just realised where the exhaust is.
On the model? Ta-da!
It stayed there without me gluing it on. I thought it'd fallen off.
There you go.
Good fit. Oh, I need to stop my nose from tickling. 2 seconds.
I think John will probably be joining us later. He's on another stream on a Wednesday, and
which should have been finished by now.
No, it starts at 12.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, they moved the Monday one because of our one to 11, so that finished at 12. So John could come on here,
but they didn't move the Wednesday one.
We don't do Wednesday normally, so yeah, fair enough. But
I still think it lacks of moral fibre.
Anyway, let's have a look at the Virago modders.
Yes.
Such an impressive piece of work. I binned mine when I did mine.
That's got the front wheel to go on and the handlebars and the lights and done.
And then,
do you mean the headstock?
And then connecting all the black tubes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, it just says headlight and meter. And then the front fork, which is this bit.
Cool.
Oh, Steph's not happy.
Why?
He's the only one that's turned up for the live stream.
Where's John?
I don't know. Oh,
He's in the
now
background.
I do. Whoops. Yeah. You've upset somebody, John.
Hello.
Can you hear us?
Well,
Hello, John.
hello.
Ah,
Hello, hello.
I
Can
can
you
hear
hear
you.
us?
Very good. Hello.
Hello.
Aren't you
Again.
supposed to be somewhere else?
Yeah.
He's
I
not.
just looked and he's on his own, bless him.
Oh, is he? Yeah, I'm expecting an angry email or something or other a bit later on, but I was literally on talking to my wife, just like, I don't know which, I was like, my priority should be the Models for Heroes, but I think I'm just going to, I don't know, I'm going to annoy people either way. Oh, look at this. And then Paul was sending me videos, links and stuff like that. I'm just like, Bron said, you should go and do the show. I went, which one? Oh, fuck it. I'll decide on the way to the garage. So, g'day.
Well, we wouldn't have been angry with you. We understand that
Yeah.
you have other
You
commitments.
can't be angry with you, John. Hey, John, I want to show you something.
Oh, not again.
Are you ready for this?
Not again.
Close your eyes, people.
30-second scale Meng Focadeo 1?
I have no idea, mate, but yesterday at our Models for Heroes face-to-face group, we got donated 5 boxes of models that were in need of restoration
Right.
as a project for us to do. This was one of them. All this needed was that beautiful prop putting back on. So that one's done. I've restored that one. It's from a gentleman who's no longer with us. He's passed away, unfortunately. And his landlord had the stuff and none of his family wanted it. So it all got chucked in boxes rather unceremoniously. So there's a bit of damage gone on. But here's another example of the work that he's done. And the work he's done on it is stunning.
That is nice.
So we're going to repair them. And I'm going to find a bit more information out about the gentleman concerned and find out if or not he was a veteran. Look at this. This is beautiful.
Oh, wow.
And I've got all the bits. So if he was a veteran, that'd be even better.
Sorry about
Cool.
that. I think my hay fever's playing up.
Sneaking suspicion he was.
Hmm.
So, and then we'll use him as our part of our display at events. So yes, I take it. I trust everybody is well.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's just peachy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Choice.
You may not be with the email. If you get an email during the stream or after the stream.
Yeah, we'll see. Well,
What's he going
You're
to
a
do?
big boy. You can deal with it.
well, you know.
So yeah,
It's all
we've
good.
decided the intros that StreamYard will allow are really depressing.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
literally
So,
just a grey screen with some colours going around and really crappy music.
yeah.
And a
All right.
countdown. So yeah, we'll just do like a 30-second countdown in future. And it also doesn't mute the microphones. So when we go live, if you're here before we actually go live in future, John, make sure when I say we're going live, you go shh and put your finger on your lips. Because I know what you like. So you go, here's the thing, and then start talking.
Yeah. All right.
Right. So whilst you three crack on, I shall go through the chat.
Quiet.
All right. I'm going to go to the kitchen and grab a beer. I think I'll be back in a mo.
Why are we all?
I'm waiting for him to start reading the comments, but
Oh, right. It says, hey, lubed up to let's slip and slide. Don't ever say that to John. He'll get the wrong
I think
idea.
you're missing some of the comments. There was a few comments before that.
Well, yeah, because I didn't come in until 10 o'clock. Well, 11 o'clock. Gary Morris, whoever that is, says, morning one and all.
He's a fine-looking gentleman.
Yes, the English cousin of John.
Yeah.
Scott says, and good evening, everyone. Hello, Scott.
Hi, Scott.
Hello.
GM says, greetings, purveyors of the petroleum byproducts. It's hot here by Korean standards, 36 degrees C, sweating, so networked about to be too much lube. It would help. Laugh out loud. Ooh la la. GM says, not worried. I said spell checker again. Matt says, hi everyone. Hello, Matt.
Hello,
Did
Matt.
you see the lovely photo I posted of Matt that he sent me with his
I
prize?
did. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah. It's on my Facebook.
All right. Back in
On my Facebook page, Gary. Or on the channel Facebook page.
Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I did. I did.
Yeah. Looking very happy. Which is
Good.
good. It's nice. It feels nice to make people happy. Bob says, hail all. Almost forgot about the calendar shift. Yes. According to the Beardorian calendar, this week, Tuesday followed Wednesday. And next week, it goes back to normal, where Wednesday shall follow Tuesday. GM says, good day, Bob. Calendar shift. Yes. It was a discussion on Discord about the Beardorian calendar. In other words, the calendar according to BBC. Bob says, yesterday is today and today was yesterday. Yeah. He says, I think. Indeed. Joe says, hello to all. Only here for about an hour or so. Another long drive to doctor's appointment this morning. I hope I haven't gained any weight. Don't want him yelling at me.
No. I got my annual text message from the doctors yesterday saying, your diabetic reviews, Joe. Come and get a blood chit and then we'll put you in for a bollocking.
I don't get bollockings. Because I improve when I go. I don't sit there drinking copious amounts of alcohol and chocolate and stuff.
Well, I look at it like this. I can die thin and miserable or fat and happy.
I weighed myself the other day and I've lost another half a stone, by the way. I don't know where,
I
but
like show off.
Yeah.
so I've lost about over 2.5 stone now.
Do you want a cookie? Obviously
No,
not.
because I'm trying to lose weight. Bob says, well, maybe yesterday's tomorrow is today. Well, quite possibly. GM says, Bobby, the hard thoughts first, huh? Yeah. Timmy says, good day, hosts and chat. Hello, Tim.
Timbo.
Yes. David says, good day, all. Hello, David of the
Hi,
Rhonda.
David.
Rhonda Dave.
Oops, shoot.
Hobby Time says, hi, guys. Hi, Hobby Time.
Hello.
Bob says, thoughts, they are too hard to have. Oh, has anyone messaged Julian to remind him, by the way?
No.
Just a thought, because I don't think I've seen him in chat yet. Scott says, there's a way around the intro thing. There is.
Message.
Ian says, let's have Tuesday off and Thursday. Choking. Yeah, let's just do Monday and Wednesday and Tuesday and Friday. That'll really annoy some people.
We've changed our schedule.
Yes. You need to accommodate us, bitch. Not that I'm saying that person's a bitch.
Oh, shit.
GM says, put a large tray on your laps, dropping parts lands in the tray, not bouncing along the floor. Very true. An apron does the same, which you can buy from the BBC merch store.
I have one.
Yes. Are you wearing it, Modders?
No, I am not.
You should be. You're our model for the aprons now.
I
I've not
bought it for when I bake, not for when I do this.
Yeah, but
And
we
the BBC Mankini hasn't gone into production, but it's no good for catching.
No, anything really. other than STDs. GM says, I've just read that one. Stupid boy. Rhonda Dave says, and with his discounts as well, it can be cheaper. Yes. For the Galleria thing.
Yeah, I know.
That sounds like an STD, doesn't it? Galleria.
Look.
John Thompson says, morning, everyone. Hello.
Good morning. Well done, Mikey. You got it right.
I know. I'm so proud. Although I did say Thompson, but that's...
It's better than what you said last time.
Well, the thing is, if I say Thompson, I know I've said it right then. So yeah, it kind of helps. Ian says, I like my trigger airbrush a lot more than my comparatively expensive dual action lever top airbrush.
It's such a game changer. It really is for me.
And you can sit there pretending you're on a shooting range.
Yeah, much funny.
Yeah. Jim says, hello to all the usual suspects in chat.
Jim.
Greetings and salutations to our gracious hosts. Sorry, go on.
I was just saying, Jim, good day. How the devil are you?
Hello. Jim says, Ian, is the trigger airbrush a gallery product, Ian? And Ian says, hi, Jim. And Jim says, Gary Morris, the DR1 could be the 1/28th scale Revel kit.
It could be. Unfortunately, I've got nothing to confirm that. But all I will say is the work that this gentleman has done on it is amazing.
Dutch Dave's in. He says, good, cool models. They are, aren't they?
Hi, Dave.
Jim says, greetings, Dutchman. Ian says, no, Jim, but it's a facsimile of Gary's, but the nozzle is the old screw-in type, whereas Gallery is a slide-in one. Ah.
Oh, so I'll be sliding it in, will I?
John Thompson, make sure it's lubed first.
John
Thompson says, Gary, that is so cool to honour a modeler who passed on. Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah. Yeah, and, he was obviously very good at what he did.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Rhonda Dave says, they do look very nice. Just thinking, David, do you want modders to talk you through how to change your YouTube name at some point so you don't have to type David every time? Because she could, it's not difficult. She could probably teach you how to do it.
Yeah.
All you got to do is ask, buddy. Jim says, Ian, how do you like the feel of it? I've only used dual lever. I'm so glad you put that second sentence in. Especially after he said it's the slide-on one, and then we said, make sure you lube it first. And then Jim says, how do you like the feel of it? Oh dear. TBG says, hi everyone. Hello, TBG.
TBG.
And TBG has been a member for 6 months. Thank you very much, TBG. It's appreciated. And he says that was quick. Yeah, that's gone by quick, hasn't it? Yeah, that's gone by quickly though, hasn't it?
Yes.
Gino says, good day everyone in chat and the panel. Hello, Gino.
Hello.
Ian says, a lovely thing to do. Too good to be thrown away. Those planes are really nicely made, Gary. Are they 1/32 too?
Absolutely.
Looking at the size of it, it looks like a 1/32.
Yeah, I mean,
because it's about the same size as the Albatross. I did.
There you go.
Yeah.
It is, and it's heavy.
Yeah.
It's got some weight in it.
Oh, don't tell me the door's not shut properly. That'll really annoy me. I know it's Kaylee walking back and forth. Gino says, I'm not going to be long. I have to go soon, but I wanted to pop in and say hello. Hello, buddy. We're glad you could join us.
Yeah.
Joe says, I tried to go cold turkey on alcohol for 2 weeks prior to appointment. I didn't this time. As long as you're not ticking like a 9-bob watch when you go cold turkey, then it should be okay. Ian says,
Go and get the bollock.
ooh, Gino, see you again soon. Sorry, go on, Gary. You look
So I just take the bollocking every time I go.
Yeah. He enjoys it when he's wearing his mankini in the woods. Jim says, my ex-wife told me I snored, so I did a test. I stayed awake all night to see if I snored, and I didn't. I'll get my coat and leave quietly. David says, hasn't Julian got visitors? He has. You're right.
You're right. He has.
John says, laugh out loud. Bob says, David, I believe so. I reminded him about Switch stream, then apologized. I'm sorry I reminded you about something that you enjoy. Ian says, Jim, it's really natural feel with a... Oh, God, this is getting even worse. With a trigger, I don't like using the dual action. What, push and pull? Paul tankers in. He says, QE, folks. Hello, Paul.
Hello,
Hi,
Paul.
Scott says, download your intro into your PC and then present it. Yeah. It's on my PC. So I could do that. Ideas.
You'd still have to mute everything, though.
Oh, yeah. David says, well, yes. I would like that, Tiff. There you go. So if you could help him with that later on, Tiff.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I'll jump into Discord.
Yeah.
And just send him a message on how to do it.
Awesome. John says, I like the sources you use for paint. It was sad testers stopped making paints. Tamir is good but dries fast. I did like the tester liquid cement in the jar. Model Flex is another source. Yeah.
Well, I heard they're bringing manufacturing back to the States. Who knows?
Speaking of sauce, I've got to go and get some mince for it to make a lasagna tonight.
Oh, I'm going to jump across to the spray booth, so I'll just go and set that up.
We had spanakopita last night for tea.
What the hell's that one, is it?
It's delicious, that's what it is.
It's a Greek dish. Feta and spinach pie.
Oh. Spinach and cheese, eh? Bob says, ooh, delivery, be back in a bit. What's the bet? It's a strand beast.
Oh, God.
He ordered another strand beast the other day.
Another one.
Another one?
Yeah.
Or is the jury still out on whether it's one or not?
Oh, why is that just... Come on. There you go. John says, Popeye loves spanakopita.
Yeah.
Jim says, Ian, good news. Might get a gallery trigger type during this Amazon Prime online shopping madness. Might help with my trembling hands hold the airbrush steady. Yeah, probably would.
It is it's a world of difference. It really is.
John says, I loved cream spinach. Nice. Nothing about cream spinach, nice. But I've had spinach. Paul Tanker says, I would rather have a couple of hours with you guys than TDF can watch the replay. Than the TDF can watch the replay. TDF.
TDF. TDF.
I'm not even sure.
Paul, you're going to have to enlighten us what TDF is.
So I think State of Origin is on, but that's not it. He's from Western Australia. He would be watching Queensland versus New South Wales.
Is it some sort of sport? Tour de France. There we go.
Tour de France. Of course.
To be fair, watching the Tour de France is literally just like driving down the road and watching a load of cyclists go past. You might as well just sit on the main road, or sit next to the main road rather. Don't sit on the road. That's dangerous. Don't do that.
Kids.
Yes, you may develop a sudden tire allergy reaction.
You'll get tired.
Yes. David says, thanks, Tiff.
No worries.
Scott says, that all came from Prime Time Channel, by the way. Yeah. That's a good idea, actually. I could still... Oh, God, that means I've got to carry on making intros. Oh, dear, how sad. Never mind. Yeah, Paul says Tour de France. John says, no Lance Armstrong this year. GM says, is he not retired by now? I'm sure he was in Tour de France when I was a kid.
I think he had to retire.
Yes. GM says, John Thompson, you asked about comparable dark blue colours for the Sea Fury. Federal Standard 15050, that's Federal Standard 15050, is the correct colour. Your F4Us are painted with Federal Standard 15044, that's Federal Standard 15044, 2 shades lighter. John says, lol. And Jim says, Paul, I watched the edited TDF highlights via YouTube. The highlights. What are the highlights of the Tour de France? Is that when they fall off?
People crashing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Bingles.
The Bingles, aren't they? Don't they live on a farm in Yorkshire? Or is that the Dingles?
I think that's the Dingles.
It's close enough. My mother-in-law calls me Zach Dingle because when I go out, I always wear like a flannel shirt and a flat cap. And a pair of jeans and a pair of boots. Paul, and that's not a night out. I don't go on nights out. That's just when I go out generally, out the house. Paul says, Jim, good thinking, Squire. Bob says, so does that mean a shade is 3? Ooh. Ian says, I have arthritis. No symptoms in my hands yet, but bought the trigger to future-proof my spraying sessions. Yeah. Don't blame you. TDF, David says, TDF, that's as bad as some Formula 1 races when it's dry. Yeah.
My view is watch what you want to watch.
Yes. I'd rather watch paint dry. Drew says, just popping in between visitors, carers and 3D printer aggro, afternoon, evening chat and panel. Hello, Julian. We were wondering where you were, buddy.
Then we remembered.
Yes. And at the 29-minute mark, we've caught up with chat. Oh, and then John commented. But that's cool. John says, if the shades are slightly off, does that mean there could be a sign of weathering or representing a natural error in paint? I used to always box out my paint when painting trucks. Yes, it would be.
So you get into the discussion then about colours and shades and all that. And, you know, if in real life you walk down the flight line of any fast jet squadron, every aircraft is slightly different colour.
Yeah.
Because of the way they naturally weather. And
yeah. Basically, stop worrying about accuracy and just have fun.
Yes.
That's what's important about modelling.
That'll do it.
Yes.
Hurrah! Huzzah!
Hurrah! Do what you enjoy. That's what matters most. Jim says, Armstrong admitted his cheating on national television and promptly had his 7 TDF victories taken from him. He was a con man and liar. He got caught. No pity for him at all. The views expressed in this show are not the views of BBC. They are, in fact, the views of Jim Oldscott, Chicago, Illinois, care of P.O. Box.
Oh,
shine a light.
Gary's making airbrush noises.
God, I thought I painted the wrong bit.
Dacid says Silverstone last weekend was so much fun.
It was. I did enjoy watching that race. The rain made it interesting.
Bob says, Jadlam's frightened me. 2 Jeeps, correct. Accidental Yag Panther, okay. Photo etch for Jeep, good. But where's the Mr. Servicer? Hidden in Yag Panther box. Relief. Why did you order 2 Jeeps?
Huh? Well, it's Bob.
Yeah. He's ordered 2 Jeeps and accidentally ordered a Yag Panther. Another Yag Panther.
Is there 2 schemes for the Jeep?
Yeah, could be.
There you go then.
No, I believe Bob said last time, or on a previous stream, that he'd ordered 2 Jeeps for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there's 2 schemes, I reckon that's the reason.
I thought
Quite possible.
Jeep said that there was only 1 Jeep.
1 Jeep does plenty, mate. Julie says, I used Weight Rose's promo code plus Amazon Prime to get a Galleria trigger type airbrush plus box of their metallic pens for just over the price of the airbrush alone.
I didn't.
Okay,
So what you're saying is,
oh, this is something cool. You see that there? The
earn your stripes.
Yeah.
Earn your stripes, fly 2 OCU. So that's one of 2 OCU retirement schemes because their symbol is like a tiger. So this happened today.
You got
Went
eaten
to
by a
Fighter
tiger.
World, as one does.
As always.
And the simulator that they have there, the Hornet sim.
They have a
The reason I'm
Hornet
leaving the comments
simulator
up, by the way,
at
so I
Fighter
don't lose the place.
Yeah.
World.
Now
How cool
looks
is
like
that?
that.
Oh wow!
So it's got the
cool.
tiger scheme on it. Isn't that lovely?
Yeah.
Very cool.
And it's got my old CO's name on it.
Woody.
Essentially, crafters. Woody.
Nice.
Cool.
Sweet.
Yeah.
But that's fun to have a go in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad, yeah. You can see, well, comes up on the screen there. So it's all, where are we?
Be careful what pictures you show, John.
Yeah. So it's 3D goggles and all that sort of stuff. And what you're seeing, you can fly against the other guy in the other sim. And what you're seeing and what he's seeing come up on those computer screens in the background so everyone can watch and laugh. It's fantastic. It's a lot of fun.
And tickle your ears whilst you're playing.
Yeah.
All
right.
We'll get John off full screen. Tim says 2 is 1, 1 is none. Yeah. Jem says, Bobby, what shades would you like? Shades are free, strange beasts are not. John Thompson says, Mikey, I just like having fun. I admire the ones that love accuracy.
Excuse me.
What, John? Can't hear you. Can't hear you over the noise of the spray booth. So I've muted you. Finished? Finished, Gary? John says, Mikey, I like just having fun. I admire the ones that love accuracy. I also admire the people who want to be more like the more experienced modelers. Neat bike tip. Yeah, good point. Yeah. Thing is, though, what do people consider experienced modelers? That's the good question, I think. Because do you consider experienced modelers people that focus on accuracy, or and people that know everything about a given company, what release they're having, or do you consider an experienced modeler someone that's just been doing it for a long time and just has fun with the hobby? Good question.
Yeah.
And also thank you. Because he says neat bike tip.
Yeah, I would say Benji would say no, I would say an experienced modeler is one who not only has been modeling for a while but has improved their abilities with regards to modeling during that time. And I think they go hand in hand anyway, because the more you do it, the better you get.
See, this is kind of similar, I think, to the discussion I was having with my daughter the other day about driving, because she's doing the driving lessons. And I said the difference between a driver and a learner is a driver knows they made a mistake and why.
Yeah,
a learner doesn't know, knows they made a mistake, but doesn't know how or why.
Yeah, let's be honest. A learner driver is taught how to pass the test.
Yes.
Experience comes once you've learnt to drive.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think with modelers, I think the professional modelers, the likes of Spencer, and Phil Flory and people like that, and Gary, he does it for it. Yeah. Although he will say it's YouTube that's not the modeling, but they've got to be good.
Yeah,
especially if you're doing things like commission builds, you've got to know what you're doing.
Yeah, and I think this thing in it again, it comes back to knowing either how to avoid a mistake or how to correct a mistake.
Yeah, it's probably
to know you made a mistake and how to correct it.
Yeah. And for me, a lot of it is the bits I enjoy most are the problem solving bits of it.
Yeah.
Why doesn't that bit fit snugly in there? Oh, let's do a bit of investigation and find out.
Yeah.
Basically, it's because I'm a crap modeler.
Oh, you're not that bad, Gary.
You're not.
You're like the lovely, friendly granddad of scale modelling. You're sucking on your Werther's originals.
I haven't got any. They've all gone.
See, you've had them all.
See them all.
That's just proof of my concept. David says, watch the Airfix video on the Jaguar with Corporal Jones. Showed how the camo changes when they swap panels as well. Yeah. Go for it says, hello, go for it.
Go for it.
And he says, hi, Julian. Jim says, question, Jagdpanther or Jagdpanzer? Those are different vehicles. Jagdpanzer being based on the PZ3 and the PZ4 chassis.
Panzer 3, Panzer 4 chassis.
Yeah.
I think it's a Jagdpanther because
it's based on the Panther chassis.
What
would have been the Panzer 5?
Yeah.
It's the Jagdpanther late version. That's the Jagdpanther late version. Go for it says, hi, Jim. I so want somebody to come in called Rosie so we can have Rosie and Jim.
Sailing along on the old ragdoll.
Yeah.
And John, he drives the boat.
Yes. We'd have Rosie, Jim, and John. Go for it painting says, hi, Jim. David says, was that not a problem with Bob's mouse? Double tapping instead of single tap. Yeah, it was to do with computer settings, wasn't it? Go for it says, hi, all. Bob says, well, if Federal Standard 15050, that's Federal Standard 15050, is 2 shades darker than Federal Standard 15044, then surely a shade is 3, which could be 3. There we go.
That's not how it works.
GM says, John T. World War II paints were poor quality by today's standards. Fading and wear was extremely quick. Julie says, oopsie, Shelfie McShelfface seems a little unhappy with my bargain. Oops, purchase, sorry. I like the fact that he calls you Shelfie McShelfface now. John says, definitely need the love of the hobby and a good source of alcohol sometimes too. For do you know what? Some of my best modeling like times and stuff, other than obviously on live streams, has been on an evening when the wife's gone to bed and everything, and I've just put some blues music or something like that on the computer on YouTube, and then just sat there with a glass of whiskey, just making some models quietly. I felt so relaxed after it. That was absolutely nothing to do with the whiskey. Which, by the way, Julian, I had some more of last night. It was very nice.
Oh.
Jim says, greetings, go for it. Julian says, more canine semaphore from Shelfie. Jim says, can't hear you, Mikey. A barking dog and spray booth are in the background. Ian says, hi, Julian. Now, that is a good idea. 2 items for the price of 1. Maybe I buy a genuine and updated gallery trigger and those paint pens.
All right, can we move on?
Julian says, you're going to be really upset if I get an email now saying, by the way, here's would you like a discount code for your viewers?
Because you've said gallery so often.
Yeah, except if I keep saying Galleria. I think I don't know whether it's because of Valeria or STDs or what.
What?
Exactly.
I just think Galleria sounds like an STD.
Yeah.
It sounds like something you catch rather than buy.
So any chance of a discount voucher now has just gone out the window.
Yeah. Well, you could catch it and buy it at the same time.
Or maybe it's because I'm thinking of ICM. I've got
Valeria.
ICM on the brain.
Yeah, Valeria.
Uh-huh.
You like Valeria, don't you, Gary?
I do. I think she's a lovely lady.
Yes, she was lovely to talk to. GM says, Bobby, haha. Federal standard colours run in steps of 2. These blue colours are not so many shades. 3 or 4 is closer in gaps. There you go. David says, yes, I agree with you on that, Gary. Bob says, oops, got both Panzers and Panthers. This was one with no turret, although that doesn't matter because it was a Stug 4. Oh, for fuck.
Oh, fucking hell.
You got the one with no turret, because it didn't matter because it's a Stug 4.
Bob has a problem.
Yeah. He likes buying kits. That's not a problem. It's building them.
I just wondered whether somewhere in the distance me and Bob are related.
Why are you trying to claim some of his fortune? claim some of his stash for your own. Bob says, yes. Jim says, I consider myself an experienced average modeler due simply to the number of decades I've been at it. Yeah. Oh, God.
As do I.
Yeah.
Consider me, not you.
John says, Gary, my dogs told me when to take a break. I had 2 huge German Shepherds coming under my arms at the table and sniffing.
Yeah,
I'd be very worried if Benji came in sniffing Gary because he wouldn't be able to reach past his waist.
My son's got a German Shepherd, big black, long-haired German Shepherd. It's called Flo, which is wolf spelt backwards.
Yes. So, when you're modelling, do you get Flow Improver? You could buy him a bottle for Christmas for a joke.
Yeah.
Aussie Paul says, I did my first model in 1959. It was the Airfix Tiger model. Wow.
Oh.
That's the year my mum was born, 59. Yeah.
Here we go.
No, I'm not taking a mick. It's just what... Do you remember when we had a discussion about, what was it? Philosophy and metaphysics and things? And all that stuff. And I told you about Hawking's theory of best fit reality and things like that. Do you remember that, Gary? Where your brain melted on camera?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's very close to doing it again already.
Right. You think about it, right? You're the oldest one on this panel.
Oh,
right?
You love mentioning that, don't you?
Thank you, John.
Yeah. But, right, think of this. We've not seen, except from Ian, we've not seen any of the members in real life, right? So who's to say anything existed before Gary was born? How could you prove that? Because you can't. All we've got is people's word for it that anything existed before Gary was born.
We have photographic evidence.
Yeah, we also have photographic evidence of dinosaurs. That doesn't mean people took photos of them.
Oh, crikey.
Photograph just literally translates as painting with light. It doesn't mean you stood there with a camera. and took a photo of a real dinosaur. Has that blown your mind?
It's not. Let's just move on.
Yeah, please can we move on?
Bob says, Gary, well, I didn't know that. All knowledge is useful. Julian says, agreed, Gary. My late father said once, I passed my driving test. Now you learn to drive.
Yeah.
The test to make sure you're competent at the mechanics of driving. Yeah. Just the basic skills, isn't it? GM says, comparing British and American paint charts I have here throws up wobbly close as matches. There we go. Kevin Trainer says, good day, everyone. Hello, Kevin Trainer. How are you, my friend? Julie says, afterwards we learn how to cope with the environment while driving. Yes, and the idiots.
Oh, you'll never learn that.
No. No, sir.
No, sir.
David says, hi, Julian. Hope visitors are having fun. Sorry, I got a bit of wind there. Julian says, I've noticed if modelers list the items used, they never list copious amounts of profanity. That's very true.
It's because that goes without saying.
Julian says, Mikey, that gal has gone ahem. Jim says, Gary Morris, no matter how much Benji barks, I still love him.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
we love him, really.
Don't forget to lube and subscribe, people. We've got 15 people watching. GM says, my Badger 200 only has a press on or off. Paint adjust is by screw. The trigger gun looks interesting.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's and it's very light as well. It's not as heavy as you think it would be. It's well balanced.
Yeah. Julie says, no Tiff, Bob is a problem. You can't say that. He's given you some things. He's been very generous with this channel and you, specifically Julian. Don't take the mick out, Bob.
Yeah.
Jim says, GM, your Badger 200 sounds like it's a single action airbrush. There you go. You only push, you don't pull. Julian says, my neighbour's grandkids named his dog Deefa, as in Deefa dog.
Yeah. As I say, my mate in the Air Force had a cat who called it cooking fat.
Cool. Sorry, you said it again?
He called his cat cooking fat.
Jim says, Mikey, after Gary, aren't you the next oldest on the panel today? No, that would be John.
No, in fact, well, Tiff is the youngest.
Yes.
Yeah. John's in his 50s. John's
Yes, sir.
John's 16 years older than me.
John's been round the block a few times.
He is. And Modders is 7 years younger than me.
Yeah.
Matt says Schrodinger's model kit.
Schrodinger's model kit.
Paul says, my wife turned 85 in February, daughter 68 in February, and son 62 in November. Yeah. Wow.
My son is 40 this year.
I wonder what the average age for this channel is then, for the viewers. Because I know it's mostly, or almost entirely above the age of 40. Or certainly above the age of 30. Except from the odd people like Modders and my daughter and my stepson. And Nia.
And Jake.
And Jake, when he watches. He hasn't watched for ages, actually, has he?
He's, what's he doing at the moment?
Terrorizing people. I'm surprised the guy's not on a watch list, the amount he terrorizes people. David says, my head hurts, Mikey.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's true though, isn't it? We've only got people's word for it that anything existed before we did. Because we weren't around.
Well,
I mean, how do you know that people exist outside of your own perception?
Hang on. My grandfather existed, and he was around before me.
Right. But did you ever meet your great-grandfather?
Yes, I did.
Right. So did you meet your great-great-grandfather?
No.
So how do you know he existed?
Because my great-grandfather told me so.
Exactly. You've only got his word for it. But it's like the other thought exercises.
No.
How do we know people? How do we know people don't stop existing when we can't see them? So, if you think about it, right?
I'd rather not.
When we're not on the stream, right? When we're not on the stream, unless somebody rings you up, say, I don't know, Kay rings you up to say that something's happened to me. As far as you know, I could exist or not exist. You don't know. If I've passed away, you wouldn't know. You'd just assume I'd existed. I still exist. So how do we know that that doesn't happen?
I box my eyes, and not only are you still existing, you talk shit the entire time.
I think it's interesting thought exercises.
I think it's doing my head in.
I love making your brain melt. John says, did the war surplus lead to the rise of motorcycle culture in the UK like the US? John is in the modders. I think it probably did, actually. And then the things like the Hells Angels started coming over from the US and things. So that increased it as well.
Mm.
Luckily, we don't have the same crime problems with biker gangs as they do in the US. Because the British people are a lot more sedate and laid back.
They don't like to refer to themselves as gangs either.
Yeah, it's clubs.
Motorcycle clubs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're motorcycle clubs.
Yeah.
And I know this because one of my old tattoo artists was part of the Satan Slaves.
Yeah.
One of your Padawans?
Yeah.
Tattoo
I used to know a
artist.
few Black Pistons and things. And I got to speak to the head of like the Outlaws in Wales a few times because I photographed some of their events for them. Bob says, Julian, my offspring might agree. Pancake Day bought 6 pancake makers just before Christmas, 3 air fryers. Last year, 3 desiccators. Bulk buying is fun. Desiccators. Isn't that what Waitrose uses to dry models quicker?
Yeah.
Interesting. So, who's up for a 3D printer, Bob? I'm only joking. I don't. I actually really don't want one. I have a Gary for that. Speaking of which, Callum is doing some more designs for stowage for the Jag Panther for us.
Oh, wow. Bless him.
He's designed some more ammunition and things as well.
Ooh.
We were talking about it the other night, and he was asking me for ideas of what stowage he could do for it.
He is a fine, upstanding gentleman.
He is, isn't he? Matt says... Sorry, go on.
I said we like Callum.
Yeah. Matt says Schrodinger's model kit, spelling having an off day. It's fine. It's not a word that most people are familiar with. So.
Oh, they're familiar with it. May not know how to spell it.
Yes. Duke says, "G'day, beautiful people. You tricked me last night. Did you mention it on Monday night? I may have nodded off for the last few minutes. Grandkids all day. School holidays. No, we didn't, because we didn't realise until afterwards, or I didn't find out until afterwards, that Kay had an appointment. It was an unexpected appointment. So we mentioned it on Discord. So again, like John, if you go on Discord, you find all these things out.
Was that why I was waiting for 2 hours and you didn't show up?
Yeah. Jim says, Duke, good day, Duke. Glad you could join us. Bob says, pushing 7 decades here. Wow. Tim says, I'm the second youngest. Yay!
Yay!
Yes. Well, kind of, because Nia's the youngest, then it's Morgan, then Chloe, then Tiff, and then Timmy.
I was going to say, me and Timmy are only like a month or so apart.
Yeah, you're the youngest adults on the channel.
Yeah.
John Thompson says, I'm 50. You don't look 50, dude. Judging by your picture. Fair play to you. Matt says, I'm only 21. Had a heavy paper round as a kid. Yeah. I think mine was downtown Basra. Duke says Nia would bring the average age right down. Yeah, she would.
Yeah.
We haven't heard from Hagrid for a while.
He's got a new job where he's working days.
Oh, right.
But he does watch. He just watches when he finishes work.
Oh, well, Hagrid, I'm glad to hear you got a new job, mate.
Yeah. Yeah. And yesterday I posted Nia's prize for her.
Oh,
So hopefully
lovely.
it gets there in one piece. And hopefully Belgian Customs don't start playing silly buggers again. Like they did with Mystery Box Nick's parcel for him.
Yeah.
Duke says, "Good day, Jim. Lucky to be here. My grotty gremlins, aka grandkids, have given me man flu."
Oh, no.
Bob
That
says,
is the worst thing you can get, man flu.
"Yeah." Bob says, "Tree falling in forest problem. Does it make a noise if nobody's there to hear it?" John says, "You were talking about matching colours, and I had to make patches for my Europa model. The underhull looked like the light board on Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Would have loved those planes."
Gary.
GM
That
says,
was,
sorry,
You were about to say that was John.
I was contacting an alien from another planet.
I'm not
And
saying
yes,
that.
it was John.
It'd be hilarious to watch what you do with mashed potato.
Oh yeah, because didn't he make the thing out of mashed potato?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant the dance.
Richard Dreyfuss, wasn't it?
It was.
You seen him now?
Can I please continue with the comments, gentlemen? Oh, you're joking. If you want to chat.
You missed.
People must be getting sick of my voice by now. Jim says, "Jim, yes, single action airbrush. I have 3 other dual action ones, but a poor control buttons. Have a Badger 150 on order." There we go. Jim says, "GM, I've had a Pash, as in Pash Browns, single action airbrush for 25 years, almost indestructible and ready to go anytime. I've got the Iwata Neo, and I've got
Chlamydia. That's what your mum said.
Fuck my life. I've got that airbrush kit that the one you recommended, Gary.
What, the Fenger?
Yes, that's it. Fenger.
Yeah. The Fenger is a very good airbrush.
I've got that, but I've not tried it yet.
It's very good. I've got a Mr. Hobby Pro Convoy with a bent needle.
Yes.
And my Fenger, I don't know what. I can't remember why I'm not using that at the moment.
Because
it was this action that was I was struggling with.
Yes.
Now I'm doing that.
Now it's just the concept of reality.
Well, your concept of reality.
It's not my concept of reality. It's a thought exercise based on reality.
Oh, I got a thing in the mail today.
Well done, John.
The mask. It's a camouflage mask set for the Victor. Hooray!
Hey.
Jim says, "Jim, I've just read that one." Julie says, "Oi, Shelfie, enough with the upstanding bit."
Sorry, Julian.
Jim says, "I'm 68, eldest daughter is 41, youngest is 9, my second wife. Wife says I'm 10, so I get on well with the youngest daughter." Fair play. If you're 68 and you got your 9-year-old daughter, fair play to you, mate.
Sorry about the vision.
It's all right. Gary can't tell he hasn't got his glasses on.
Focus.
Bob says, "Got a spare Ender 3 here. New inbox, destined for grandson. 1 natal anniversary." Oh, yeah. Cool. I guess in Ender 3 is like a 3D printer or something. Is it?
Yeah.
Aussie Paul says, my relationship with whiskey is on the rocks. I was trying to explain last night what whiskey stones are to my daughter.
Shit.
No, they're stones, not shit.
No, that's what it.
They make it so that your whiskey doesn't water down. Because that's just sacrilegious if you're a whiskey drinker. John says, starting to get grey and bald. Thanks for the compliments. Hey, you're welcome, mate. We're all getting grey, especially John and Gary.
I'm not.
Okay, you're 30.
Yeah, and my mum started going grey in her 20s.
My dad was bald in his 20s.
My nana was.
When did you go bald, Gary? Sorry.
My nana.
Sorry, I will.
I can't tell if you've thrown the teddy in or not because all we
No,
can see is your hand and a pen.
I'm trying to put a very small decal onto this,
Yeah, okay.
and it's not going down very well.
That's what she said. GM says, Jimmy, yes, our airbrushes are well made. Ian says, Paul, hi, by the way. Tim says, Hurricane is almost done, just matte sealing the underside, and then boom! Excellent.
Awesome.
John Thompson, I'm doing well so far with that name. At least I didn't get the urge to build Devil's Tower in my living room. The missus would have definitely disapproved and recommended holiday for me at local spa with padded cells.
Sure.
Devil's Tower is the name of the military camp on Gibraltar. It's Devil's Tower Camp. I know that because I stayed there on exercise. That's one of the places where I got arrested.
You seem so proud of me.
Right.
But I hadn't actually done anything wrong though. That's the thing. That's why it's funny. What are you showing us, Gary?
Hang on, I'll focus.
Fuzzy. Is it a control panel? There we go. Oh wow.
Ooh, F-35.
Yeah. That looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I got arrested for drunk and disorderly when I was sober. I hadn't had a drink in 24 hours. And it was all because one of the corporals I was with decided, because it was a massive storm and he'd forgotten his coat, he was going to pinch a 10-foot parasol from outside of a pub to use as an umbrella. And then we realised that because it was a 10-foot parasol, it was far too big and the wind was strong, so it was picking us all up. So we collapsed it, and to get back from Casemate Square, which is the main square in Gibraltar, where all the pubs are, to Devil's Tower Camp, you have to walk along a footpath that goes along the dual carriageway, the short dual carriageway. And he was that drunk, he thought he was carrying the entire 10-foot parasol himself. And he was swaying from the lampposts into the dual carriageway. So me and the other corporal were stood at the back trying to steer him away from the road, laughing our heads off. And then, of course, the police pulled up next to us and said, excuse me, gentlemen, we want to talk to you about that parasol. And we were like, oh, really sorry, it's just been daft, we'll take it back. And next minute, all we hear is this drunk corporal going, what parasol, officer? Holding it vertically behind his back, turning round, pretending he can't see the parasol.
Amazing.
We were literally 5 minutes walk from the camp. And they were going to take us back to the camp, so they called the van, and the female duty sergeant came out, and because she was fed up with squaddies getting arrested that week, she decided she'd had enough of taking squaddies back to camp, so she was going to put us in a cell. So, yeah. Luckily, the guard commander came out and had words with them.
That's like in Diego Garcia, one of our Herc pilots was arrested by the British police there for breaking and entering into one of the accommodation units. So they spent a night in the cell. So we were waiting to leave the next morning to head off towards the Middle East and all that sort of stuff. And the pilot was nowhere to be seen. Yeah, and we got a call from customs and security saying, "Yeah, he's in jail." So on the way there, the CEO, not CEO, sorry, the captain of the aircraft was walking past, and he saw the smashed window. And the police were there taking notes, and they said, "Look, oh yeah, so yeah, an Aussie did it. Oh, did he? Oh, you an Aussie? Yeah, well, yeah, he did it." And he said, "So why is all the glass on the outside? Like it's smashed from the inside of the room outwards?" And they just looked at him and went, "Oh shit! Oh crap! Oh, I guess we're gonna have to release him then." Did nothing wrong. Wasn't even drunk. We weren't allowed to drink on that trip.
Yeah. Well, the thing was, right, our battalion was on that exercise, and the night before, one of the lads got arrested for drunken disorderly because he got that drunk. He fell asleep on the roundabout, and the police found him in the middle of the night, upside down in the head in a bush on the roundabout, fast asleep.
We didn't see great. Oh.
Yeah, that was funny. So yeah, that's how I became known in the battalion as one of the Gibraltar Three. That led to some skits. Sandra's in. She says, "Hello all." Hello, Sandra.
Hello.
Julian says, "Joke, Mrs. Frankenstein, you never help with the food. Frankenstein, I did the mash. Mrs. Frankenstein, don't you effing dare go there." Matt says, "Timmy, bit disconcerted." Bob says, "Am I back?" No, you're front. You're Bob. You're Bob with Strange Beast. Jim says, "My Fender airbrush is a beautiful piece of machinery. Steady, reliable, and easy to maintain. A great investment." Yeah. Bob says, "Good. My cheap airbrushes at Aerograph actually have a name." Nice. Aussie Paul says, "Drinking coffee in the morning helps people live longer." I agree. Certainly helps you wake up. Julie says, "My brain says I'm 29. Sense of humor says 12. Body keeps making sure I'm not dead yet." Bob says, "I have more grey hair than my father did when he died at 80. Bless. Julie says, "When did you go bald, Gary?" My guess is 1950. Sorry.
Unbelievable. It's
Jim
funny
says-
'cause it's true.
He was born with grey hair.
Oh, that was me.
Yeah, you were born with white hair and big bushy black eyebrows. Jem says, "Bobby, while standing in Carry Forest in West Australia with a group of Navy guys, a large tree crashed down opposite us. Yes, we all heard it, felt it, and the dust."
Oh, there you go.
Funniest thing I've ever seen, right, on YouTube to do with the military was the Australian Army doing training. And the training they were doing was how to go get through the woods quickly. So what they were doing was they'd all run in a line, like full line, and the first person would run at these like saplings and jump onto it so that it'd fall flat so the others could keep running over. Right? And they kept doing it. And then they got to one guy and he ran into it and the tree was too thick. The sapling had grown too much. And he just went thud, boom, and knocked himself out of the tree. It was really impressive watching him going over, and then the tree going over. The next one, tree going over. The next one, he just bounces off the tree and just lies there. Julie says, "Hi, Sandra." John says, "Nice control panel, Gary." What the hell is that white noise?
I don't know. Oh, shoot.
I'm going to do mic checks. Hang on.
That's not funny.
It's not John. Gary, what have you got going on in the background, mate?
I've only got my fan on.
That's what we can hear.
That's been on all the time.
Yeah, all of a sudden we just started hearing it. So I'm wondering if your noise cancellation has gone off. 2 seconds.
No, echo cancellation is on.
Yeah, reduce background noise is off. There you go.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I've just turned that on.
Oh, right.
Firefox said it won't let me do noise reduction or anything like that.
Yeah,
I'll turn my fan off.
that's all right. I've turned noise.
I'll sweat.
We won't notice the difference. John says, "Nice control panel, Gary."
Thank you.
Aussie Paul says, "Saw a very sad photo of a victor laying in a field." Yeah, that's the one that crashed in Australia, wasn't it?
There was one doing the rounds on Facebook the other day of the one that they flew into Manston, and then the fire service used it as a
one very nearly crashed in Australia, but it didn't actually crash.
Bob says, "Gotta go. Offspring Transport is here." No problems, buddy. Have a good day.
Yeah, cheers, Bob.
John says, "I'm so glad to speak with you guys. People here are so rude and confrontational lately. Very welcome relief. Thank you all for your service, mate.
Oh, no worries.
And we're glad you're here."
Yeah.
John says, "I worry about my country. You are so right about Britain being so much more relaxed and mellow." Yeah, we are a lot more chilled back.
Well,
the Aussies are just so chilled back there, upside down most of the time.
Yeah, it's like, hold my beer.
They're upside down all the time until they come north of the equator.
Yeah.
That explains it. All the blood rushes to your head. You're born with blood. Paul says, do you go dizzy when you come north? All the blood rushing back down again.
638. I'm looking at my notes. So the grey on the Victor will be medium sea grey, BS 637.
Yes.
I just got to work out what that is in Mr. Hobby.
Why don't you look at a colour converter?
What do you want to know, John?
What was it, John?
BS 637.
That's BS 637.
Stand by.
British
Model
Standard
colour.
637. Meanwhile, Aussie.
There isn't a British Standard 637.
BS 381.
So you gave duff information,
Yeah,
then, didn't you?
the BS 381 colour chip 637.
No, there's no BS 381 either.
There's a 381C.
Yeah, 381C.
Oh, are you on the? Oh, hang on. Yeah.
I'm just looking at the
Gary.
bottle. It's on the bottle.
Okay, yeah. Hang on. What was it again?
BS, that number again.
No, the actual last three numbers that you're after.
Where are we?
I'll just go to sleep.
637.
Medium sea grey.
Yes, medium sea grey.
Yeah. You want to know what will be equivalent to it?
In Guns, Mr. Hobby, Mr. Colour.
Would it perhaps be medium sea grey? Just a thought.
Actually, yes.
A C or an H? The guns. Which one's
You're
which?
wanting Mr. Hobby.
A C or H. Yeah.
It's medium sea grey.
Well, C335 and H335, but they look green to me.
Oh my god. Oh, what? It's the first one I picked up. 335.
Yeah.
Looks quite heavily pigmented with green.
BS 637. Yeah, there we go.
And you up there, it looks totally, yeah. Oh well.
Same as a Vulcan, so yay. All right, I'll do that.
Yeah, it would be the same as the Vulcan.
Aussie Paul says, "Gary, we here in Western Australia call them Gumtree's Widowmakers."
Yeah.
Tim says, "Mikey, that video was at High Range Training Area up near Townsville. Digger's gonna dig." Shakes head.
Digger's got to dig.
Duke says, "Paul, we were always told from a young age to never set your tent up under a gum tree."
Yeah, that. Talk to Paul Marley about that.
Did you know Kookaburra lives in an old gum tree?
Oh, very merry king of the bush is he?
John Thompson, I'm still getting it right. I'm so proud of myself. Says, "Was balls to the wall an RAF term for the controls in a Spitfire?" No, it was an American term for the Mustang because when they needed to go full power, the ball on the throttle lever actually touched the firewall at the front. So
I didn't know that.
balls to the wall.
Mr. Marley,
Mr. Morris.
I need your expert opinion regarding
Oh.
F-35s,
Yes.
and preferably, I shouldn't imagine it's a secret because it's. Well, you're not going to be able to see, are you?
We couldn't until you took it off camera.
Hang on.
Yeah. Can we zoom in on Gary, please?
We can. Since you asked so nicely. We can zoom on, not John.
Yes.
Right. You see the throttle here?
Sure do.
Is it really on a long pole like that?
I would say probably not.
No, not really.
No.
There's an elbow rest for the control over on the right hand side.
Yeah.
No, the throttle's not that high.
No, I didn't think it would be, because that is it's not glued in, so that is the said part.
Yeah.
Unless I've got the wrong bit. Of course.
No, I don't know. I'm just trying to remember when I did mine. So is it saying the throttle?
Well,
Is it
the
is it
actual
up?
the actual part C13, as it's referred to here, does not. The picture on the instructions does not resemble that, apart from that huge bloody.
Okay, so it's actually more shaped like the end closer to your fingers than the end closer to your wrist.
So that part.
Yeah, it's a very strange shape. It's a big chunky thing with like 15 switches on it.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering whether I need to chop off that.
Just turn it upside down.
Yeah, I reckon you get rid of all that and just have the square block.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know why it's there. Okay. Thank you.
There we go. John says, paint pot looks similar to Tamiya. Yeah.
It does. They're slightly smaller. So I reckon, I'm going to use that.
Sorry, go on.
No.
No,
Get
go on.
Get on.
I insist,
No,
go on.
over here. I'm trying to
All
find
right,
some
shut
paint.
up then. Right. GM says, John T, not sure. We would firewall the throttle full on later Mustangs. The throttle is a normal lever. There we go. There you go. We've caught up with the comments. It's taken me an hour and 20 minutes, but...
Oh, goodness me.
Yeah, I was going to say, I noticed you
People-
haven't got anything done.
Yeah, people must really be sick of me by now.
Not at all. If they were sick of you, they would have tuned out by now.
Oh, don't tell them that.
Well, yeah. But, maybe they just feel sorry for us.
BS641 RC286. Sorry, I'm just
Okay, so
talking.
that's alternatives, which would have been nice to know, but I've got precisely nothing done today. But I don't mind. I don't mind. I've quite enjoyed doing the chat for a change.
Yeah.
So feel free to comment more if you choose. What the hell? That's got stuck there. There we go. Right.
Those
Oh,
two.
shit. Let me drop my motorbike.
Pardon me.
Pardon you.
I do apologise. That came out of nowhere.
John Thompson says, I remember in Memphis Spell, they used Duxford as the home base. She was in Basingbourne. I hope I spelled it right. You did, and that's where I did my basic training.
In the Memphis Belle, you're older than I thought.
And a lot of the filming was done at RAF Binbrook,
Yeah.
where they built a complete copy of the World War II control tower, but all the controlling was done from the modern one.
Gary was the military advisor on that one.
No, I wasn't.
But yeah, the runway that Memphis Belle used to take off from is the one we used to do our physical fitness tests on. Things like that. It's still there actually, still used by the army. Of course, it's more of a mobilization center than a RTMC now, rather than a ATR, which is Army Training Regiment. John says, "Great film. It is. I like that film." Jim says, "No worries, Mikey. I'm not sick of you, mate. A little bored, yes, but no." Cheers, buddy. John says, "Heard they had one crash. Most likely. I know there was one that crashed recently, wasn't there? But I don't know if that was. I think that was in the US.
It was in the US.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was terrible. That was mid-air
Yeah,
with an aerocopter.
yeah.
It was terrible.
Right, let's get this in there like that.
So
Just
I
like
made a
that.
model of that one that crashed. This is it here. 909. Yep.
I just realised I'm still on my face cam. No wonder people are sick of me. Sick of my ugly mug.
We issued a government warning.
Yeah, I'm going to put one of them in the next time I do an intro.
There you go.
There you go. Right, leave that on there. I have done a thing.
All right.
Does the real seat on an F-35 really look like a comfy chair?
Oh, it is, and it is. Yeah, it's all black. There's really not much. There's nothing colourful about the seat or the belts or anything.
I'm just looking at the part here, and I thought, bloody hell, it's almost like a comfy chair.
Hmm.
But I haven't got to do the seat. But I have completed the cockpit assembly.
Yay!
Oh, it can go in.
It's interesting, isn't it, that there's no HUD on the glare shield? Hey.
Well, it doesn't need it, does it? Because it's on their visor on the helmet.
Doesn't it all come through the visor? Yeah.
It does. Yeah.
British Ian says, "Never seen Memphis Belle."
Oh, it is a good film.
Yes.
People on down to
John
Duxford, you'll see a copy of it there.
Did you just say Dixford?
Dixford, he did say Dixford.
I did. Sorry, I'm slurring my speech because I'm trying to translate to English.
No, it's just because you've had too much to drink tonight.
Or it's because he's been watching porn.
That's how much I've had
Gone
tonight. I've had what a third of a glass. Yeah.
Yeah.
A hell of a lot
Yeah,
more than I've had.
that glass.
He's obviously got it on the mind, hasn't he? Either that or he's on a promise.
Look at that. That main cockpit of defying gravity. There's no glue used in that yet. It just pushes in from underneath.
Wonderful.
Nice.
The fit on these main kits is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Now it's dropped out. But
John says, "Ian, it's a great movie." It is.
I
Gem
do, but I think Masters of the Air, the series, is a lot better.
Yeah.
And I know
thought
time has moved on, and you know, special effects and all that are better than they used to be.
Yeah.
But
I've heard criticism of Masters of the Year. My view is most people have said, "Oh, it's not as good as Band of Brothers." My view is, if you're comparing any war movie to Band of Brothers, that's a very high bar to reach. So, you know,
yeah,
yes.
I mean,
It's not just that either. It's a false equivalency, isn't it?
yeah, they said
is,
the same about the Pacific, you know, because Band of Brothers, the Pacific, and Masters, yeah, done by the same people, isn't it? Hanks and Spielberg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was fantastic. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. Right. Stay there. Stay there, exhaust. Right. Jem says, "Throttle quadrant on my Sea Fury is a blob. After Scratch build a new unit, how is the recent kit throttle, guys?
Oh, I haven't actually looked at that.
Oh, mine's covered up. Let's see if I can find a picture.
That's a good point. I don't remember doing anything like that.
I'm trying to think.
They didn't have the throttle,
So-
did it?
There's so little you see in that cockpit.
No, it's all very black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
God damn it, Modders. Work. Carry on with your work.
I
Go
am
ahead, Gabe.
finished.
Oh. David says, over the next few weeks, may it only be on when I can. I'd be worried if you're on when you couldn't. As I'm helping out at our local paddling pool where I volunteer for opening it for the kids as council don't open it anymore. Oh, that's nice of you.
Oh,
Fair enough.
Well
Very
done.
nice. Yeah, well done.
John says, the 25 missions and going home was a myth. Heard they were all reassigned to other bombers. That wouldn't surprise me. Jim says, Memphis Belle is a very average cookie cutter style of film. Yeah. John says, the real plane was moved from Memphis and restored at Wright-Patterson. Yeah. John says, look at Tiff go. Jim says, there was another aircrew that completed 25 missions just before Memphis Belle. Don't know the whole story about that, but it's out there for research. There we go.
Interesting.
John says, I think each branch of service felt brotherhood differently. Yeah. John says, but the same. Yeah. Ian says, I've got Band of Brothers series, not watched it either. My God, Ian, what do you do with your life?
Ian, you've got to watch Band of Brothers, mate.
Oh, it's wonderful.
You're going to hit me then because I've never seen it either.
Oh, Tiff.
Tiff, have you seen anything? Like, ever?
Like some stuff.
Other than goth porn?
I have to.
Other than goth porn, did you say?
Yeah.
It's a thing.
The tangents these conversations go off on.
Yeah. Jim says, John saw Memphis Belle at the United States Air Force Museum in Dayton, Ohio after the restoration was completed and she was put on display. Nice. Matt says, enjoyed Pacific more after reading Max Hastings' Nemesis.
Yeah,
John says, go on.
I was just going to say, I've got this book to read when I finished Anthony Beevor's Arnhem. When I finished Al Murray's.
I've got Al Murray's 45, but I just need to get the energy to actually do some reading.
I used to read a lot in bed, but I can't now. So
yeah.
Yes.
John says, Why We Fight is the most important episode. Had a lump in my throat. Yeah. Well, not so long ago, I did a diorama for a friend of mine whose grandfather, I think, or father, had been. He fought in Normandy during the war and everything, and he was a Bren gun carrier crewman, universal carrier, and he ended up. They got lost and they had to hide out in a French barn, and then eventually, when the next Allied column came past, they joined the column, and that column headed to one of the massive, big concentration camps, and he was one of the first people in through the gates. And it traumatized him for years. He never got over it.
I imagine it would.
Yeah. Paul says, told Daff about our classic Sojourn. She said about Rimsky-Korsakov and Borodin.
Rip me corsets off.
Is this another one of your fetishes, Gary?
It's long pregnant pause.
Oh, well, I've got a fit issue, I think, for later on.
Matron.
So, Modders, do you want to show us your bike?
Yeah.
Please.
Go for it.
Crumbs.
Tell us what you've done.
She's finished.
Yeah, we gathered that. Tell us what you've done to it today. Finish it off.
I've got the front fork and the handlebars and the headlights and stuff on,
That's stunning.
Yeah, well done, Modders.
and the seat.
That's a beautiful piece of work, Modders.
Thank you. I'm rather proud of it.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And it's not an easy kit, that Virago.
It wasn't too bad.
Yeah. Well done.
Yeah. What are you going to build next?
I don't know.
So for mine, all I've got left to do is put hoses on and some decals. So
That's
mine.
looking nice.
There you go. I'm not going to bother going on big screen. There you go. That's mine.
Nice.
And I've got the lights and the indicators and stuff on and all that shit. So yeah, there you go. So that'll go on my shelf. So, John, you know what that means, don't you?
It does. Just give me a sec. Yes. We'll put
It
this
means-
down.
It means, are we ready, John?
Sure.
Is this a big reveal for the next build?
Yes.
Yes.
That you
I
guys
think people
do?
know what we're doing.
I don't.
You don't? Okay.
do.
I shall switch camera. We're still going to carry on talking for like the rest half hour, but okay. So, me and John are not just going to be doing
Oh, I do know what
one
it is.
kit. We're going to be doing 2 kits. Okay?
Oh,
Are we ready, John?
No, I have to get the other one.
Yeah, bastard.
Gold. All right.
Okay, you ready?
Are you doing
Let's
the large one first or the small one?
Do them together if you want.
Oh, no. Let's do the large one first.
Okay, so we're going to do, ready? Go. That one.
Oh,
A B-type London omnibus from 1919.
Yes.
but
And,
What I am.
nice.
yeah.
Could be any of them.
Yeah.
And to go with it, we've got... Yeah.
Omnibus fruit and passengers.
Yeah. With the roses.
Yes. So that's going to be fun.
And it's mini art, isn't it?
It is mini
Yes,
art.
they're both mini out.
A million and
Number
one pieces went
38031. That number again, mini art 38031.
This will be a long build because there'll be 9 million parts in there.
There is rather a lot of parts. And this was my birthday present off Modders. So thank you,
Yeah.
Modders.
Yes, it was.
And I've also got the military one.
Whole heap of sprues.
Yeah.
Lots of parts.
Packaged nicely because they're not moving, are they?
No, not at all.
Airfix, are you listening?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to continue building my F-35 because I'm actually enjoying this.
Ooh, people are nicely detailed as well.
Yes.
Yes, sir. So the question is, are we going to start building the bus first or the passengers? So that we
I
can
reckon we'll start on the bus. Let's start. Well, we're most likely doing the engine block.
You can't
Yeah.
have passengers without a bus, can you? 'Cause they'd
No, but it's a bit
they'd just
hard
be
to put the
people
passengers
then.
in the bus.
And when the people aren't going on the bus, does the bus really exist?
I mean, you guys
God, we're back
actually
to that
not
again,
the
are we?
instructions yet.
Gary, you're going to be in trouble.
Hey?
If you start singing the wheels on the bus, you're going to be in trouble.
No. I said when the people aren't on the bus, does the bus really exist?
Well, this is the thing.
Yeah, have you guys looked at the instructions for those yet?
Yes.
Yeah. You've got a nice thick booklet for the instructions for that bus.
I shall enjoy watching from the sidelines, chuckling.
You can always join in on the stream again if you want.
Depends when you do it, because I must say Tuesdays is normally.
Well, you know, we may make it to Wednesdays just for giggles. Really.
Just for shits and giggles.
Yeah, just to watch the proverbial hit the fan.
No, don't. It's not nice. It's not big, and it's not purple.
Yeah. John says, "I think Never Again was not for just for the Jews, but for all humanity." Yeah. Yes. Dutch says, "Wonderful work, Tiff."
Thank you.
John says, "Wow, Tiff." Duke says, "Awesome work, Tiff."
Yeah.
Jim says, "Très bien, Tiff. A very nice model. Hurrah." Paul says, "Très bien." Paul says, "Nice one, Tiff." David says, "Wow, that's beautiful, Tiff."
There you go, Tiffers.
Yeah.
Oh God, I've just realised what tomorrow is.
But at least I got the wheels for mine now.
Down to earth with a bump.
Yeah. We've probably got a few episodes left on that, to be honest.
Really? Sorry, did I say that out loud? I've lost my Drew Scriver.
How?
Where's my Drew Scriver gone?
David says, "Nice, Mikey. Thank you, buddy." Paul says, as Jim says, "Tray of beans." John says, "I need a display case or a fly swatter. I always get that anxiety when people touch my models without asking and break something off. I'm at DEFCON 1 then." You should get one of those electrified like tennis racket things. I've got one of them. They're great fun. Just make sure the kids don't touch the wire mesh with their tongues. Ian says, when my PlayStation subscription runs out next week, I will endeavour to catch up with Sharp post-war, Hornblower, Blackadder, and LOLO box sets. Yeah.
Is that PS Plus? Is it, Ian?
Yeah.
Hello, Kaylee. I couldn't hear.
Oh no!
Oh, what?
I've lost me Drew Scriver.
Uh-oh.
No, I haven't. It's not a Drew Scriver I've lost. See, I don't even,
It's your
I don't
mind.
even, I don't even know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for my pin vice. Yes.
Whoop, apparently, Kay's been shouting at me for the last half hour because she had a fall and couldn't get up.
Oh,
Oh,
dear.
And I
Is she
didn't hear.
okay?
Oh shit!
Her.
You're right.
She says she's not hurt herself. She just feels really woozy.
Oh,
But yeah, she's going sitting. She said, "I'm going to go to the shop now." I said, "No, you're not."
No.
I said, "Go and sit down, and we'll go to the shop together if you want to go to the shop."
Yeah. Good girl.
I said, "Wait till we've finished."
Yeah. Won't be long. She only got to wait 20 minutes.
Yeah. Jim says, "Mini art kit, huh? Going to need about a year's worth of weekly live streams for that." Are you complaining, Jim? Really? Are you complaining that you'd need loads of episodes of me and John chatting shit and just arsing around?
Oh,
I
no.
would be.
Yes. Ian says, "We used to have table placemats with old buses like those when I was a lad. Very nice." Yeah. John says, "John, new model smell. I love that and the potential in the box. Used to open a model as I got home from the hobby shop as a boy, still do as an adult."
Yeah.
Where the bloody... Where's my pin?
Ian's laughing at Jim.
Can I just say, that's not Benji you can hear in the background.
No, sorry, that would be one of the dogs in the park.
Don't tell me that's Marion. She's doing like the American SWAT police did when they didn't have a SWAT team available, standing around the corner pretending to be a dog barking to get the gunman to come out, and it worked. Hobby Time says, do you get Mr. Hudson and Mrs. Bridges for that bus, Mikey? I don't know. Do we get people in the bus kit, John?
No.
No,
There we go.
not in the bus kit itself. You've got obviously you bought the thing separately. It's the only way to get people for it.
Yeah. Cool. Jim says, John, a couple of years back, a video went viral of a contest judge picking up a model to inspect the underside.
Oh, I remember.
Confrontational with me, had that been my. The worst one I saw was someone made a Lego model of the Millennium Falcon and passed it to Harrison Ford to sign. And as he picked it up to look underneath it, the whole thing just collapsed on his head and just fell apart on the floor. And it was like this massive Millennium Falcon with thousands of bricks in it. And Harrison Ford was like completely horrified, and the guy was just stood there in just disbelief.
Well, you know,
Like, I've just
Lego.
spent a
You
year
do
of
it
my
again.
life.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, my view is you don't build it just once because it's Lego.
Yeah. Jim says, "Hey there, Hobby Time." Hobby Time says, "Hi, Jim." John says, "Goog, Jim. I'm not insane, maybe a bit crazy. Aren't we all?" Ian says, "PS Premium came with the console as a bundle." Excellent.
All right.
John says, "Good, damn fast fingers." David says, "Hope she's okay, Mikey. Give her our love." I will, mate. She's just come in looking very sleepy. I think it's because she had her ECT on Monday. She's now restarted her meds, which she hasn't taken for 6 weeks. So I think they've knocked her out a bit because she said she just blacked out and then woke up on the floor. So yeah. Jim says, "Mikey, not a complaint, merely an observation of fact with a touch of cynicism." I like it. Aussie Paul says, "Tatty bye all. See you soon." See you later, buddy.
See you, Paul.
Don't forget, we are back tomorrow with the Big Boy build, and on Friday with the Sea Fury.
Oh, read the last comment, and then Timbo sent a picture of his hurricane.
Yay. John says, "Gary, I had to go through the model checkpoint when I got home from the hobby shop. The purchasing department can be tough. And Duke says, "See you, Paul." Go for it, John.
Right.
The floor is
So,
yours.
Timmy, as I mentioned, let me just hit the focus button, has sent me this.
Oh,
So-
look at that.
So I'll zoom in a
Oh,
little
that's
bit.
sexy.
Where we'll start up there. So this is for his father-in-law.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wish
Oh
the
yeah.
models that good.
So this is I'm trying to remember is it the Epix kit, Tim? I can't recall. So yeah. Early Battle of Britain, so it had the what they had before IFF is port starboard wing and generally a white one that period, correct? And it was 262 squadron from memory. Douglas Bader's one, a Canadian squadron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dougie.
Hobby Boss. Oh, it only took 2 days and 4 hours. Oh my god, phenomenal. Very nice.
Yeah.
I've lost my pin voice. Where the hell's that gone? Oh,
Well played, Timbo.
Well done, Tim.
See?
So I forgot to mention a little bit of sad news that came out of the UK veterans community yesterday. A young soldier called Sergeant Alex Kearney, who went missing from Tidworth Base a few days ago. Unfortunately, his remains were found. He passed away. They think it was self-inflicted thing. Can't say it on YouTube, obviously, but yeah. So really sad. Yeah. Hope his mates look after each other and everything. So, and hopefully, Army welfare will give them all the support they need.
Yeah, that's
Honestly,
terrible.
the family. Yeah. He was only I think he was only 30 as well. So there's no age really, is there? But anyway, Ian Ellison, our English Ian, says Tim's done an amazing job in 4 or 5 days. 11 out of 10. Yes, he's done well. John says, sorry for the loss of the sergeant. Yeah, it's. I think it was not last year, the year before. I actually kept track of all these sort of veteran self deletions sort of thing that were reported. Because there's an organisation called Veterans United Against the S Word.
Yeah.
That YouTube won't allow us to say. And they kept track of it all and posted it every time. And I think it ended up with 83 in 1 year. So and apparently that's a normal year. So we're losing 83 veterans a year in the UK to self-deletion. So, yeah, that's sad. I think it's even more sad when they're still in service, because when they're in service, they should have all the welfare support they need.
Oh, yes.
Mental health support. You know, you can kind of see why it happens once they leave, because it's really hard to get help on the NHS and things anyway. But whilst still in service, it shouldn't be happening.
No.
GM says, we had numerous sad ends with RAF guys. Guns in cars were messy to deal with. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And,
sad.
yeah, one of my best mates deleted himself on the day that I left Air Force, which is it was the day I was moving house, so I couldn't go and see him. I knew he was struggling.
Yeah.
I miss him to death.
Literally.
Well, I shouldn't have said that, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. This is one of the weird things, right? Because when they announce stuff like with celebrities and things like that, I never really feel anything about it. But I think because the armed forces world is a small community anyway, I think everyone feels it to some degree. Certainly everyone in the armed forces world feels it to some degree. Because we know that the Army or the Air Force or the Navy should be doing better than what they are.
Yeah.
We're looking after the guys and girls. Yeah. So, what I'll do is, for those who haven't seen it, I shall show you. So that was him. A young man.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. So rest in peace, my dude.
So again, a reminder why Models for Heroes is so important.
Yes. They do. When we say they save lives, we're not joking. They do. That's actually made me a little bit emotional. It's not like me. I don't do emotions. For I am a man. Yeah. So we have 2 aircraft at the bottom. How are you getting on, gentlemen?
Not too badly. I've got all the engine intakes done.
Yeah.
With the correctly painted fan blades, which you cannot actually see from the front at all. So why you have to paint it, I don't know. The back end of the engine's all done, despite not really needing to be there because nobody knows what it looks like. Wheelbase, weapons bays and wheel bays are in.
Yep.
And just need weathering. And I've also put the.
Are you going to paint or dry brush some of the cables and stuff?
I'm going to put a dark dirt wash in there, or maybe a panel line wash in there.
Nice.
And I've also fitted the cockpit.
Yeah.
Which is everything has been a beautiful fit so far. So
yeah.
And that'll just sandwich down on top of there like that.
Yeah.
And it's a big aircraft. It's a big model.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
chunky.
But yeah,
Okay, Gary, on the port side.
yield.
So what I would call Kutchman carrots on the fuselage side of the intake. So the bump leading into the jet intake.
Oh, this bit here.
That bit there, yeah. It looks like it sits slightly proud on yours. It's got to be flat. That chine is super critical. So can the one on the port side drop down slightly if you
This one.
Yeah. Just the side of the fuselage on the inside of the
Right.
intake.
I'll have to. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. It's flush on that side, but not flush on that side.
Yeah, that
Okay.
might be a problem on the next step.
Yeah. Okay.
Fun fact, one of the great successes of the F-35 program is an aircraft that can go transonic, supersonic with no moving parts on the intake at all.
Yeah.
They reckon one of the biggest successes in the entire program is the shape of the intake and the shape of the inlet duct itself.
Yeah. Just catch up with the comments before we go on to you, John.
Yep.
John says they look younger each year I get older. Yeah. Gary knows that feeling all too well. David says, yes, understand the things that can happen, as I had a friend who took a run on a new motorbike and we only found out after the garage reported the bike missing and then had a visit at the unit. Bike, lorry and him. So sad. Yeah.
Yes.
This is one of the reasons why I stopped playing my guitar for a year until I picked up again recently, and it's because I found out that the guy because when I was learning guitar a few years ago, I'm not particularly good at it or anything, but I learned all the open chord stuff, and the guy who taught me was an absolute fantastic teacher, and I found out he died in a road traffic collision, and then I found out that he'd actually done it on purpose. He'd taken his own life, and the way he'd done it was by coming back from a gig one night. He drove at 70 miles an hour and swerved deliberately into the back of a heavy goods vehicle that was parked up at the side of the road, and took his seatbelt off and everything whilst to do it, which made me really sad. And every time I went to play my guitar, all I kept thinking about was Peter and the lessons we had together. So for a long time, I couldn't pick up my guitar because it just upset me. And it was only when I spoke to the leader of an organisation called Guitars for Veterans, and he said, well, think of it this way. Peter would be more upset about you stopping playing his guitar because of him than he would you playing your guitar and remembering him. So at that point, my sort of head switched and I realised he was right, and I started picking up my guitar again. So yeah,
It's a thing.
Yeah. John says, had a grand uncle who died in World War I at 18. I had the honour of placing flowers on his grave. Yeah. Jim says, American veterans are facing more and more cuts and reductions to the VA. A friend's son says 3 men in his company have committed self-deletion.
Yeah, right.
It's become more... There's one thing in the UK is they're getting a little bit better at it, because now, like especially in Wales, because we have, obviously in the UK we have the NHS, but in Wales now we also have the Veterans NHS. So we have one specifically for veterans and service-related conditions, which is quite cool. And it's like, because things like knee problems and back problems are so common with veterans, there's actually a guy in Oswestry, I think it's Oswestry, who he's a guy who specialises in knee surgery and things.
Yeah, he's a major.
And he basically does it as like a private service for veterans. If it's service related, you can get yourself referred to him, and he'll do the surgery without having to go on the NHS waiting list. So yeah, they are getting a little bit better in the UK. because especially like even when I came back from Iraq in 2008, I was diagnosed with PTSD, and the major, who's a psychologist or whatever, that diagnosed me and said, but don't worry about it. Just go home, get back to work, and you'll be fine.
Right.
Yeah. 2 weeks later, I was in a road traffic collision. My car rolled over onto its side. Luckily, I had my arm inside the window because it was cold. But my car rolled on the side, skidded down the road on the driver's side, and then rolled back onto its wheels. And I woke up with a brick on my lap. And I have no idea to this day how it got there. But yeah, that was in the middle of nowhere. Luckily, managed to climb up a bank and get to a farm who rang the ambulance and the police for us. So yeah, that was fun. And I didn't realise all my arm had been cut open by broken glass. Until the copper said, "Come on, we need to get you in the ambulance." And I said, "No, I'm fine. I'm just talking to my dad." And he went, No, we need to get you in the ambulance. You're injured." And I went, "No, I'm not." And he went, "Have you not looked at your arm?" And I looked at my arm, and all my arm was covered in blood. I was like, "Whoops." So yeah. GM says, because that was part of the risk-taking behaviours and things that comes with PTSD. GM says, on reaching air rank, having to contact families was harrowing. In career, K-pop suicide is weekly. Not taking the mick out of the language there. I was started saying the word and I realised.
Yeah.
Is weekly. Lost 70 friends in the past 12 months. Jesus wept. John says, thanks again for time well spent. No problems, buddy. And David says, yes, Mikey, he did same and had taken his helmet off first before riding at the lorry up in Scotland. We were in Salisbury. Jesus. It just doesn't bear thinking about, does it? I mean, imagine you're the lorry driver as well.
Oh, yes.
You know, you're just sat parked up or something. And next minute, all you hear is something going to the back of you. And then you go around the back and find all the mess. And what's left. Poor buggers.
Yeah.
Anyway, honest. Jim says, be seeing you all tomorrow. Yeah. On that sad note, we promise we won't be so depressing tomorrow. Honest. Please come back.
Yeah, right, Gary.
Yeah, I'm trying to work out which
where his
part.
hair went.
No, I'm trying to work out which part I'm gonna do.
Okay.
Speaking of working out, I did a bit of math. You guys have 338 pieces in that mini art kit, the bus, including PE.
And then the figures.
And then the figures, yeah.
John, is that the refueling doors?
The F5, you're saying? Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so it's a F5. I should probably do them shut then because it'll be on the ground.
Yeah, it's always shut unless you're servicing it.
Yeah.
John says, not depressing, human. It's what we need in the world. Yeah. And Duke says, see you tomorrow, guys.
Yeah, for the big boy build.
Yeah. Admit it, Gary, you like playing with your big boy.
So very, very quickly with the Victor before we sign off.
Go on.
Well, they started off all being white because of anti-flash nuclear white and blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
And then they went to a low-level thing. So as you can see, the camouflage goes down about 3/4 of the height of the fuselage, pretty much for all of them. So I'm choosing to do a different one. So I'm choosing one that's halfway in between the transition from the anti-flash to the camouflage. So it's got the low-vis pastel roundels on the side and a higher demarcation line. So as a result of that, I've got it'll be easy because I'm just literally following the panel line down the center.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm in the process of painted the white. So I'm changing camera. I painted the white all underneath. I'm just masking up the bottom half to paint it all grey and then put masks down and do the camouflage thing. I've just got to work out how to do around the intakes, but just because the one I'm doing is white over the intakes. Well, look, the difference there is you see the top one is coloured under the intakes. Mine is white over the intakes. So I've just got to redefine that. But that's me. It's going to look very different next time you see it.
Cool.
Cool story, bro. Right.
It's all about modelling. We occasionally talk modelling here.
Yes. Occasionally. Once everyone's gone. Right. All mute yourself. I'm going to mute you all now because we're going to go. Bye. Cool vow, everyone. Bye bye.